Welcome to today's class. My name is Engineer Faith Edu, your resource person for this online training organized by the Cybersafe Foundation. Today we'll be looking at technology, design, and programming. We previously talked about technology, use, and development. So today we will be looking at technology, design, and programming. So it's going to be an interesting ride. I might get quite technical at the point, but just stay with me. I'll try my best to make it as simplified as possible for us. So we'll start by asking our usual question: what is technology, design, and programming? Technology design is the study, design, development, application, implementation, support, and management of computer and non-computer based technologies for the express purpose of communicating product, design, intent, and constructability. Plenty English. Is the study, design, development, application, implementation, support, and management of computer and non-computer based technology for the express purpose of communicating product, design, intent, and constructability. Technology design is quite straightforward if you read it over and over and over and over again. Also, technology programming is a process that professionals use to write code that instructs how a computer application or software program performs. Remember, we talked about computer language. So this code is more or less like the computer language that the computer understands. You give instruction to the computer through a language that the computer can understand and interpret and give you the desired result. So that's technology programming. Now, what basic technology skill should you and I own, especially in today's technologically advanced world? Word processing is very important. Everybody, virtually everybody, will at least have, how do they call it? To be digitally literate. You should have the ability to use the computer, lead the computer application training. You should have it. And if you do have that, basically you'll be taught word processing and the use of spreadsheet skills among several others. Then you can progress from there. So some of the basic technological skills that we should own here, one includes word processing. This may be the most basic skill, but learning how to type properly is very important, as we find that most work is done digitally now. So virtually everything, even this class, is done digitally. So let's imagine that an assignment is given, as we have been given. It will be best done digitally, like type it out and submit it, type it out in a way that it makes sense to the person that will be assessing you, and then you submit it, and then of course you'll be assessed based on your submission. So very important. Spreadsheet skills. Having the ability to use spreadsheet effectively is a trait that companies look for. Whatever sector you are in, you will need to store vital company information, whatever it may be, from contact information to research calculations. So I've already talked about spreadsheet skills. We have the Google Sheets, we have the Microsoft Excel, and some very common apps that you can use to apply your spreadsheet skills, the ability to be able to enter data and carry out certain functions. And then all of this is easier and best done using spreadsheet skills. Next, we have the database skill. You should be able to use some type of database program to create tables, store and retrieve data, and query data. Most times, data on their own might be just vague, meaningless on their own, but when you query them, you can get information, you can get answers, you can get solutions to problems from the results you get when you query those meaningless data. So it's very important that you also get database skill. For some of us, as we continue on this class, we will learn how to improve on our database skill and our spreadsheet skills as well. Next, we have presentation skills. The ability to create visually compelling work is integral to modern workplace. Sometimes that's where we have our Google slide or a Microsoft PowerPoint, where you present your work in a way that is visually captivating while presenting your message. At the same time, you make your message straightforward, easy to comprehend, and captivating, so that your audience don't get bored in the process of your presentation. So very important, you must have presentation skill. And then email management skill. Now today's world, virtually our communication has gone digital, and most official communications are done through the use of the electronic mail. So email management skill is key. Knowing how to email professionally is everything. The email is a contact hub for almost all workplaces, and it is the main way for you to contact clients, customers, and co-workers. We talked about us setting up our LinkedIn profiles, and all. So one way that you will be communicating with them, let's say when it's time for direct communication, official communication, one way that you will be communicating or they will be communicating with you is through your email. So you must learn and acquire email management skills for you to be able to communicate professionally. That's your profession, your co-workers, clients, etc. So these are just some basic technology skills you should own. Remember, let me go over them again. Word processing, spreadsheet skills, database skill, presentation skill, and finally management skill. Please work on all of these 5 skills. Thank you. Let's be looking at the introduction to design, UI UX. So we'll call it UX, UI UX. So however you call it, you are going to have a little, I'll try my best to make us understand what UI UX or UX UI stands for. Remember, we are talking on design and programming now. So UX is a human-first approach to the design of a product, which has physical and digital applications to the product. The main rules of UX involve the user's full experience from the first contact right to the last. So UX means user experience, user's experience. That's the meaning of UX. I'm sure you have been hearing it. You might be wondering, what does it mean? Is it a secret code? What does it mean? Is it a very big grammar that means one very highly technical term, or refer to one highly technical term, or something? It simply means user experience. Now we shall get to know more about what is meant by user experience as we progress in this class. So a UX designer focuses on structural design solutions for any issues that the user encounters during their interaction to try and create a product that the user can delight in owing to its effectiveness. Now, let me just explain something before I go further. Imagine a scenario where you have like a particular, you have several banks you are banking with, and they have their mobile apps. I'm sure you can agree with me that some of these mobile apps, banks, mobile apps, when you use them, are quite easier to use, to carry out transactions than others. So by the time you open an app, a particular app to carry out any, it could be a financial transaction or not. It could be, let's say, maybe a shopping, an online marketing app. You know, you open it to carry out an online transaction. That feeling, that experience you have from when you open the app, how easy is it for you to solve through what you need to do? Let's say in the case of a financial transaction using a bank's mobile app, that experience you have when you open the mobile app, how straightforward is it to open it? And then how straightforward is it for you to carry out any transaction you want to carry out so you get your desired result? Let's say you want to make a transfer, you want to pay your bills online, and how straightforward is it for you to carry out that? So that experience you get from the beginning to the end is what's referred to as the user experience. So if let's say an app is well designed, an application is well designed, a well-designed application is an application that should give you a beautiful user experience from the beginning to the last. That is what they are trying to explain here. So the user experience involves your first contact, right from the first moment you open the app to the last when you shut the app. How would you say, oh, you successfully carried out what you wanted to do? Or was it frustrating? If it was frustrating, maybe you couldn't really understand the many things that that showed up on the dashboard, then that means that the user experience design is poor. But a good user experience is one design is one that is easy, that gives satisfaction, optimum satisfaction to the user that puts up that app to use it. I hope I've been able to make some bit of sense, like you're able to get it. Putting it again, let me use like the Jumia app. I go online in Jumia. What do I want to buy? I want to buy, oh, what do I want to buy? I want to buy hair. I want to buy my hair. Now I go to Jumia and I go to the section where will I get my, I don't have to search through law. I just, okay, it should be somewhere under female items, and then I go to female items. Oh, it should be somewhere around fashion, female fashion item. I go to female fashion item. You know, the ability to easily navigate software and then get what I want. And I'm happy at the end of the day, I select what I want and I go through the payment processes, it goes straightforward and everything ends up well. Is what is referred to as the user experience. Whether it ends well or not, it's user experience, but what experience do you have? Is it a good experience? Is it a bad experience? That is what user experience is talking about. So as you go by, a user designer focuses on, and a user experience, the whole of that is designed by somebody, the person that set up that process, setting up what are expected to experience from the beginning to the last, or when you open and close that app, is the user experience designer. So this designer focuses on structural design solution for any issue that the user encounters during their interaction to try and create a product that the user can delight in, owing to effectiveness. So it's the duty of the user experience designer to make sure they set up a structural design that makes it easy for you to interact during your stay on that app, makes it easy and for you to have a positive response, feedback to give at the end of your stay, the duration of your stay on the app. I hope I have been able to make some bit of sense. If you don't understand, you ask questions on the platform. We are best to address the questions there. So a user designer focuses on structural design. We've already said it here. So UX, which is simply user experience, is frequently the first step in the process of creating a product, establishing the bare bones of a project, which UI then fills with interactive and visual elements. Now, what is UI? We go to UI. On the other side of the metaphorical coin is UI. It's not University of Ibadan. It's not that one. UI is a human-first approach to designing the actual aesthetic experience of the product with only digital application rather than the digital and physical applications of UX. UX refers to digital and physical application, but UI has to deal with only digital application. Now, UI simply means user interface. Why UX means user experience, UI means user interface. So here UI, UX is user interface, user experience. However they want to term it, they know that UI is user interface, UX is user experience. Now, the focus of UI design is visual touch points. Interaction with the digital product is top of the list of responsibility for a UI designer in order to create a product that is aesthetically pleasing for users. Now, let me still go back to explain the way I explained for the user experience. UI is when you open that app, how easy is it for you to navigate to find what you want? You want to carry out, let's say you open the app and you want to pay your bill, maybe for your cable television or your water bill, or maybe book a flight to somewhere. You can do all of that through, let's say, that financial app. And then you open, and then you will now be searching. It looks as if, where did they hide it? Under what code name? You understand? And let's say you can't find it. That means there's a problem to the user interface. When you open that app, what you see is the user interface. the design of the app, the visual design of the app, how it appears on your device is the user interface. A good user interface designer should design their app so that it is easy for you to access, to do whatever transaction you want to do on that app at any given time. So that's it could just be an app for entertainment. It should be easy for you to be entertained. You want to be entertained. If you want to shop, it should be easy for you to shop for what you want to shop. You shouldn't struggle like as if you're trying to solve a puzzle just to do what you want to do. So that's just what user interface is all about. I remember, I cannot recall exactly now, but I remember opening an app I needed to use to carry out something, and I searched and searched and searched. I was supposed to carry out a particular function on that app. I couldn't find where they hid it. And then I didn't know much about user experience and user interface. In fact, I just knew here about it. I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, what kind of app is it? I ended up just blocking out and didn't succeed. So I think I kept trying before one day I finally discovered where that particular function is hidden somewhere in a menu among the menu list that is also hidden somewhere. You understand? So getting to know more about user interface, and now realize that that was a very poor user interface design, because I shouldn't have to search and search and search and try just to be able to access. There should be a way that I can easily just there on the dashboard, the visual representation of all of these things, the icons and everything is signified, is what is referred to as the dashboard. There on the dashboard, like the representation of my device, I should be able to easily sort myself out, get access to whatever I need to get access to. If it is hidden, there should be an icon visible that should take me to the hidden part of it, not that I have to go and start searching as if I'm doing crossword puzzle. So that's what user interface here is all about. That is me trying to explain. Now let's go back to the lesson. So you said here that the focus of the user interface design is visual touch points. Make it like what you see, make it easy for you to access. Interaction with the digital product is top of the list of responsibilities for a user interface designer. In order to create a product that is aesthetically pleasing for user, when we talk about aesthetically, you know what it means: beautiful. It should be beautiful to the eye, easy to behold, and easy to use, easy to access by the users. So from tapping a button and scrolling down the page to swiping through a gallery of images, user interface makes the journey laid out by the user experience possible. So by the time the user interface does its work well, the user interface designer does its work well, then the user experience designer work would have been successful. But when the user interface designer does not do its work well, then the user experience designer's work will not have been too successful, because you will come back with a negative review. So if you come back with a negative review, that means there's a problem to the user interface. There's a problem to the user interface design. 1 minute, please. So we're talking on the difference between the user interface and the user experience, and also the function of the user interface designer and the user experience designer. So, and we see that the user interface designer makes the the work of the user experience designer look good at the end of the day. The user, whoever the person is that is, the user that will be using the product will have positive review at the end of their stay on that app, if the user interface designer does its work right. I hope I've been able to explain that. Like I said, if you have any question, please drop it on the platform. So despite their professional relationship, the elements themselves are quite different. They both relate to very different aspects of the development process and the design discipline. They also work closely together, both being really crucial to the creation and success of the product. Next, we're looking at programming, introduction to programming, mentioned computer programming, an earlier class, the digital literacy class. So we'll be looking at programming now. Computer programming here is said to be the process of designing and building an executable computer program to accomplish a specific computing result or to perform a specific task. This is quite straightforward. Programming involves tasks such as analysis, generating algorithms, profiling algorithms accuracy, and resource consumption, and implementation of algorithms in a chosen programming language, commonly referred to as coding. That's what programming is all about. We have basic programming languages. The C++, we mentioned it before, is a programming language that extends the C programming language. It's a programming language that combines features from both low-level and high-level languages. The bulk of CAD application, CAD is computer-aided design, uses C++ interfaces. Since mechanical engineering is more closely related to robotics and automation, mechanical engineers can also use a programming language like the C++. We have the JavaScript. The JavaScript is a well-known programming language on the internet. It's also known as the HTML programming language and is commonly used on the internet. JavaScript is an easy-to-learn programming language. In fact, it is less complicated than the majority of programming languages. Since the HTML and CSS are the foundation of a beautiful website, web developers should learn this programming language as well. We encourage us to take up other courses that can enable us learn some of these computer programming language as it add value to you. Then we have the PHP. PHP is widely used for server-side web creation when a website requests information from a server on a regular basis. Since PHP is an older programming language, it has a large user community that has developed frameworks, libraries, and automation tools to make it easier to use. Debugging PHP code is also easy. Then we have the Python. Python is a versatile software programming language that is ideal for writing scripts and is particularly useful in engineering projects for automating procedures. Python's key benefit is that it is easy to learn and understand compared to many other software programming languages. In Python program, you need about 5 times less code for any given function that you would in the Java or C++ programming. Although the precision of other languages is often needed, Python can help any project from films to enterprise program run more smoothly. So this is where we end this class, but this is not all. We are just giving you insight. It's left for you to go and carry out your detailed research on each of these topics as listed and see how they can add value to you. Thank you for staying with me till now. So we'll see you in the next class. I'm your resource person in the near future.